make sure that we got together and talked, because gosh, this is I mean, South by Southwest is a great place to talk about what's going on with each of you right now. And this must have been an amazing panel. Did you have a good time out there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was really beneficial for everyone to really learn and actually understand. You know, we talk about cannabis on the day to day, but when you break down statistics and you really go into it, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm dealing with a big beast over here.
And Bella, being the influencer that she is, plus she's also a cannabis entrepreneur, one of the biggest female cannabis entrepreneurs in the country. Hearing her voice about this issue is huge, and it was very impactful.
Absolutely. Well, plus, you know, in Texas, we're a little bit behind the curve on the cannabis issue too. So it's good for us to be able to, yeah, way behind. Sorry. Let me clarify. But it is good for everybody here to hear about it. And what are some of the things that you think that everyone at home can do to maybe help out and kind of get everybody on the same page here? Because each of you have had unique experiences in this and have realized that this is a good thing and we need this.
Well, you can sign Weldon's letter for a
Yes.
start, Weldon Project, very important. You can raise your voice on any social media platform, and every social media platform would also be very helpful.
Yeah, and Weldon, tell us a little bit about your story too, because this is it's a crazy story for most of us to hear.
Yeah, so in the mid 90s, I started a career in the music industry, working with some of the folks at Death Row Records, particularly Snoop Dogg and Tupac Shakur's group. And a few years later, I got a major record deal. At the same time, I got indicted for selling $300 worth of cannabis on 3 occasions to a confidential informant. The federal government picked it up, hoping, you know, they would bring down big rappers. But when that didn't happen, they charged me with 100 years worth of mandatory minimums based on $900 worth of cannabis total. And I went to trial and I lost and ended up with the 55-year mandatory minimum. It was so long, even the judge, who was this conservative George W. Bush appointee, said this is ridiculous and asked the president to commute my sentence as he was handing down the sentence, and later quit, walked away from the bench in protest, and became my #1 advocate.
That's amazing. It's gosh, sorry that you've gone through that, because there's so many people now that are taking up space in jail that don't need to be, and it's got to be frustrating for you to hear all those kinds of stories as well, right?
Yeah, we have finite resources, and they're spending, you know, millions and millions and millions of dollars, you know, locking up low-level cannabis offenders, and when they could be using those prison beds for people that actually need to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bella, let's make sure we get a plug in for your cannabis company as well too.
Forbidden.
Yes.
We sell weed and we make it.
And it's California,
yeah.
so it's going to taste really good.
And it's grown by Glass House, in indoor literal glass house grown, and so it's beautiful, delicious flower. But yeah, we have a lot of fun with the, you know, colorful aspect of the brand, and the sparkly, and the, you know, pre-rolls being silver and baby blue and the different colors really represents the lightheartedness that I love about weed. Instead of sticking with the sterile, much more white, just white label packaging, it was very important that we did something different that stood out and grabbed people's attention.
I think if your people follow Bella, if you don't, you should follow Bella Thorne. But I will tell you, unlike a lot of the celebrity stuff, you know, I get approached all the time by people who are just like, oh, just put my name on a box and things will be great. And the best thing is Bella really does smoke cannabis. Long before I met her, she liked cannabis. And so what's in her jars, she picked. So she is, that brand is her. So if you like Bella and you buy Forbidden, you're getting what she has chosen and what she has selected, and she is a connoisseur.
Yeah, let's talk about your cannabis journey as well too, because that's a really, really interesting one as well.
Yeah, so I had a career in law enforcement, which, is sort of an interesting juxtaposition to be now the chairman CEO of a very large cannabis company. And part of the reason that I think it's important is if you look up Glass House Brands, you go to Yahoo Finance, it's a publicly traded company, and you can see our enterprise value, and you can see how we trade in a day and all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, we were up here today with Super Peach, and her brother, Jose Valero Jr., he was arrested with less than 5 pounds of cannabis. And he is looking right now at a mandatory minimum of 5 years and a day, but the guidance is 8.5 years. So this young 24-year-old with no criminal history, none, he's been a good person, gets arrested, and all of a sudden now is facing this. Meanwhile, Glass House Brands, True Leaf, some of the other ones, we're actually moving real amounts. 5 pounds is, we don't even talk about it. Bella and I never talk about 5 pounds of anything. We're talking about hundreds of pounds, thousands of pounds. And quite frankly, we own 6 million square feet of greenhouse, which is the largest in human history. That's millions of pounds per year, millions, not less than 5 millions. So we're making money. We have business discussions, and Jose and his family are preparing, unfortunately, for potential here or likely at prison.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk about, because in Texas, people can go and have been going right up to Oklahoma, right above us. But what's the best path to do a cannabis company the right way? What would each of you say?
First, talk to your Texas legislators and whack them in the head and say, guys, this is still a democracy. People want this. It's a plant. And if you're conservative, like so many Texans, where's the libertarian? I thought you guys hate Nancy Pelosi and nanny government. What are you guys doing? So let people have the plant. Stop being stupid. If you don't like the plant, then don't buy it. But I respect Texas in so many ways. This one is a head scratcher. We're here. We love you guys to enjoy some forbidden. And Weldon has a brand called Reform that's coming out. Again, California grown. That's the best. But even if you grow it in Texas, it's better than right now none. And when you have an illicit market, people are still buying it. But now they don't know what they're getting. It could be laced. Yeah, you could have all kinds of problems with it. That's not safe. And I'm sure Governor Abbott wants safety for his state. I think for me, it was actually crossing over the Rubicon and making the first investment into cannabis. My investors have invested with me since '96. I've never lost money for them in any investment. So when we said, let's do this, and it was federally illegal, and I was financially secure. I didn't need to do it, but I felt strongly about it. I think that first time we decided we're going to do it was when that was my Hail Mary moment. And the fact that I get to work with people like Bella, now Weldon as well.
Yes.
It's paying off in spades, because if nothing else, my life is better to be around good people like these.
My Hail Mary was coming out because I knew that was going to be tough to do, and that the industry wasn't going to like it, and that it was going to hold me back from some things that I wanted to do in my life. And I did it anyway. And I'm just so happy that I, pushed to be myself and just say, fuck it, I'm just gonna run with who I am.
Can I point out, try and think of any other female cannabis smokers that do it publicly. What people don't give her credit for is how brave Bella is as a human being to take a chance, because she was very successful. She didn't need to do that, but that's who she is, and she's brave. And so I wish other women would follow in Bella's footsteps.
Yeah, well, that's one of the many reasons we love her. And also, she was very, very sweet to my daughter when she met her. So she's got a place in my heart. And
So,
yeah,
I would say my Hail Mary moment was, I was 15 years old and I wanted to be in hip hop so bad. I relocated to Los Angeles, didn't know anyone, didn't have any money, just had a vision. And I had been learning to be a beat maker. And a year or two later, I ended up at Snoop Dogg's house making music with him, and ultimately produced a whole album for him. And I think that was my Hail Mary moment. Like it was so far, like so unrealistic for me to actually make it, not having any connections, no money, no reason to make it. And I did. And it was, a dream come true that was cut short, unfortunately, by our drug laws.
If I could say,
Yeah.
these are two very modest, successful people that I'm honored to be around. The other Hail Mary moment for Weldon was when the police tried to give him an out to snitch out and roll on Snoop Dogg, and he didn't do it.
Mhm.
And because of that kind of integrity, he paid a very, very steep price of over 13 years in prison. But he's come out now as he is the thought leader in this space. And also the rap community has so much respect for him because he's real that as his brand launches, he already has rappers lining up to say, I want to be part of what you're doing. Because of that Hail Mary moment where almost anybody else would have said, hell yes, I'm going to roll on Snoop. I don't want to go to prison, but that's not who this man is. He's a man of integrity.
Well, you can do better by getting your voice out there, by letting your voice be heard. Tell your friends, get angry, get active, sign his letter, tweet at Joe Biden as many times as Twitter will allow you to before disabling your account. What can we do?
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being with us, and enjoy Austin, and we'll look forward to seeing you